she's trying to say that like what people came to their own conclusions, she doesn't align with that. But it doesn't change the fact that you were part of a eugenics ad. This is just like the bare minimum.
Oh my God. We got to check in on Sydney Sweeney, the actress who is apparently so controversial. I really still don't understand all the fuss over her, but anyway, you'll probably remember she broke the internet a couple months back with a commercial for American Eagle for their jeans, where she made a joke about her having good genes, being, blonde and attractive. And all hell broke loose, and the internet actually kind of had a meltdown and accused her of eugenics and being a Nazi and all this other stuff. I'm not kidding. That is what happened. Well, she has now finally tried to do some damage control on the controversy. And shocker, they're still not happy. These miserable people on the internet. Anyway, so the update here comes from People magazine. Sydney Sweeney shares emotional response to controversial American Eagle's jeans ad. Quote, "I'm against hate." Yeah, well, many have assigned motives and labels to me that just aren't true. The actress tells People exclusively of backlash she's faced this year as she promotes her upcoming film, The Housemaid. Now, look, I have no particular vested interest in the career success of Sydney Sweeney. I don't really watch her movies. I saw her in The White Lotus a few years ago. I thought she was pretty good in that. But I do find this whole thing ridiculous. We covered it at the time. But in case you've forgotten how truly deranged this meltdown was, I want to play you a compilation of TikToks, many of which had millions of views. And this was a really widespread sentiment online, losing their mind over Sydney Sweeney's pun about jeans. Let's watch.
You guys are complaining about that Sydney Sweeney jeans ad, so I went and saw it. That's Nazi propaganda. Wow. I thought it was going to be like kind of bad. That's going to be in history book.
I will be the friend that's too woke because those Sydney Sweeney American Eagle ads are weird. Like fascist weird. Like Nazi propaganda weird. Would we be surprised that a company whose name is literally American Eagle is making fascist propaganda like this? Probably not, but it's still really shocking. Like a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman is talking about her good genes. Like, that is Nazi propaganda.
Saying that a blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl has good genes is Nazi shit. Saying anybody has good genes is eugenics. Blonde hair, blue-eyed, Nazi shit. This pro-Americana bullshit, talking about pure Americans having good genes, this is Nazi shit that people, especially Jews, have been warning about for a very long time. Oh, it's not that big of a deal. Jeans is just a play on jeans. Shut the fuck up. This is Nazi shit.
Sydney Sweeney's jeans ad is giving ethnic state propaganda. It is giving dystopian. It is giving 1940s Germany. And they could have had her said anything. She could have just said, "I'm hot, drink my bathwater, here are my jeans." But instead they had her say, "Genes are passed down from parents to children. I have good genes. My genes are blue." Why? Yeah, no, that was like the most thinly veiled propaganda I think that I've ever seen.
Wow. I forgot how bad it was. Like, I forgot how deranged that meltdown was. All over a pun. All over a play on words. And by the way, none of them know what eugenics means. Eugenics involves selective breeding to root out undesirables and sterilization and all that. Not the mere existence of genetics and some genes being favorable and some being unfavorable. That is not eugenics. That is just genetics existing. Obviously, genes for certain things are desirable and genes for other things that are harmful are not desirable. That is not eugenics. That's not what that word means. But these internet controversies always seem to come back to like declaring war on the dictionary. But thankfully, after Sydney Sweeney's recent comments, people are coming around and realizing it was all much. No, just kidding. They are doubling down on their bizarre hatred for this woman. We are going to take a look at one particularly deranged video after this. Finally, a win for sanity in the trans debate.
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
The Olympic Committee just took a big step forward towards restoring fairness in women's sports, but if you only read partisan media on the left or the right, you'd really struggle to figure out what actually happened. But using Ground News, an amazing service I've used for years to help prepare this show, it's easy to sort through the noise because it's an app and website that gathers news from sources all around the world so that you can see every angle of how a story is being reported and make up your own mind. It also tells you everything you need to know about a source's bias, factuality, and ownership. In left-wing media, for example, Metro Weekly's headline reads, "Olympics prepare to ban trans women from competition." Of course, trans women aren't being banned from the Olympics. They just have to compete according to their biology, not their identity. Meanwhile, in right-wing media, Trending Politics' headline is, "Olympic Committee drops hammer on transgenders." That's not exactly an unbiased report. Thankfully, using Ground News, you can get a neutral summary of the story, see how both sides are framing it, see who's covering it and who isn't, and most importantly, use your critical thinking skills to make up your own mind. I knew it was bad, but using Ground News has really helped me break through media bias to bring you a fair show. You can get the same plan that I use, which is the Vantage subscription, if you sign up through my link, ground.news/Brad, or scan the QR code on screen to get 40% off unlimited access. This exclusive discount is available through this link, so act now to break your media bubble and keep your critical thinking skills sharp. All right, guys, let's just dive in. Let's watch their response, their reaction to Sydney Sweeney trying to clarify what she shouldn't even have to clarify because she never did anything wrong. She never actually said anything offensive or did anything hateful, but she still went out of her way to clarify to People magazine that she's not any of the insane things that people are calling her. And shocker, that wasn't good enough for the angry mob on the internet. Let's watch their discussion, one person's discussion. There were so many videos like this, but let's watch how they're reacting to this over on TikTok, where they're known for being very stable and normal. Let's listen.
Well, hell must have froze right on over, and Sydney Sweeney's publicist must have finally clocked into her shift, because it looks like she's finally speaking out in regards to the American Eagle ad. She tells People magazine, "I was honestly surprised by the reaction. I did it because I love the jeans and I love the brand. I don't support the views some people chose to connect to the campaign. Many have assigned motives and labels to me that just aren't true." She tells People magazine she's someone who leads with kindness. And that she's addressing the campaign backlash to clarify her stance and dispel negativity. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm always trying to bring people together. I'm against hate and divisiveness. In the past, my stance has been to never respond to negative or positive press, but recently I have come to realize that my silence regarding this issue has only widened the divide, not closed it. So I hope this new year brings more focus on what connects us instead of what divides us.
So I just want to pause on that for a moment and say that that's not crazy. If you are a public figure or a celebrity or a controversial figure in any way, choosing to not address controversies isn't always the best strategy, but it often is, because when you do come out and speak about things, it does breathe more life into them. So a lot of people tried to use Sydney Sweeney's silence immediately after the whole controversy against her. They were like, oh, well, if people were calling me a Nazi, I would clarify that I wasn't. And one, I mean, that's a little dystopian to use like people's absence of action against them as proof of guilt, but also it's not even straightforward. From a PR perspective, there is a reasonable case to be made that her having done that would have only made the controversy bigger and drawn more attention to it. So it's not crazy that somebody would not respond to these kinds of internet pile-ons.
AKA my movie flopped and I need to save my career. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it. Because the truth of the matter is you had an opportunity, that an interview perfectly set up for you to address this, and you chose to be smug and not give a fuck. But because obviously it's affecting your career and you have these new movies coming out and the studio's probably putting pressure on you to finally say something, now something's being said because it's actually affecting your income and your job. Okay? So now
See, I'm just not sure I really buy this. They're all insisting that her recent movie failed because of the backlash over this. I don't believe that. I really don't. I think it just didn't succeed, right? It was a niche film about like, I don't even know what it was about. I haven't seen it, but I've seen people discussing it, and it didn't have mass appeal. But I just think these viral TikTok controversies don't translate all that much to the real world. When you look at like them boycotting Target and Starbucks and all these other things, yet the foot traffic continues. I'm not convinced it's really having the impact. She probably just thought it would go away, but y'all are so obsessed and so deranged that it hasn't. So she's trying a new approach of disavowing it. It's like she really can't do anything, because if she says nothing, then like her silence is deafening and it proves everything. If she comes out and says, I'm not hateful, I'm not an extremist, I'm not any of these things y'all are saying about me, y'all don't believe her and just say she's just doing that to make face. So what could she do exactly to make these people happy? That's the TLDR here. You can never make these people happy, so why even bother trying? Really, that's, at least that would be my interpretation as a celebrity, if I ever was, is do not even bother to try to appease this section of the internet, because they're never going to be happy with you, no matter what you do. But let's listen to the rest of this.
Okay, so now you care when it affects you, but you didn't care when it affected everybody else, did you? And I know some people are going to say, well, aren't you just happy she finally said something? Like, why are you never satisfied? I already know it. I see it coming. Here's the thing. I mean, it's good that she said something, I guess, but like, the tonality of that to me just gave, she's trying to say that like what people came to their own conclusions, she doesn't align with that. But it doesn't change the fact that you were a part of a eugenics ad. This is just like the bare minimum.
Oh my God. She wasn't part of a eugenics ad. You people are insane. They made a pun about her having good genes. That is not eugenics. Eugenics is selective breeding and forced sterilization. Not a pun in an American Eagle commercial. My God, these people need to touch grass. It's pitiful. Good grief.
The bare minimum bullshit ass, like, here, damn ass statement I've ever heard. Because she needs to do this, obviously. Like, it is what it is. I'm still not watching the movies. I don't give a because you had all the time in the world. The last thing I will probably ever be watching of yours is Euphoria, and you better thank Zendaya for that, because anything else that you're in, girl, will not be sat. Sorry.
I don't know how she'll ever survive without your support, because you seem like such a reasonable and lovely guy. So the thing that is funny about this to me, because I just picked this one dude's video, but it is all over TikTok. People who are refusing to get over it, are refusing to accept Sydney Sweeney's clarifications, and are just determined that she is a Nazi princess no matter what. If she doesn't say anything about their allegation, that's proof. If she denies it, that's somehow more proof. Or she's just... There's no winning here. And what's interesting to me about this is that they don't seem to realize the incentive structure they are creating, this like woke online crowd, where when there is no such thing as forgiveness or redemption, once you cross them, it creates an incentive for no one to try to appease them. They don't realize that. And that's why they've lost so many of these cultural battles, and the pendulum has swung so far to the opposite extreme. It's like they canceled people as irredeemably racist for the dumbest reasons, and then wouldn't even offer them a path back to like their good graces, and then they're surprised that people eventually, a lot of people just stop caring, and now you have an actual rise of racism and people are really not bothered by it. Yeah, that's what happens when you overplay your cards, and more importantly, when you have no grace and you don't leave any path open for people for redemption. You just cancel them irrevocably. Like, this is very obvious that this would have this effect, and now no one cares. But you guys are doing amazing. These videos will get lots of views, lots of likes in their little echo chamber, and they'll all pat each other on the back about what good little woke warriors they are. Meanwhile, they're just making everything worse and coming off as miserable. That's my take, at least. But you guys will have to weigh in on the latest Sydney Sweeney drama in the comments below. Make sure you're subscribed if you aren't yet. Hit the like button and all of that.